Not for a while. It's gonna be nice, right?
Yeah.
Don't forget, in about a second.
So, I've been around here a long time. So, no, none of the names out there. And I was just had a window down there today and hopefully get some stuff going. I can't explain why it was spraying. I said, it's been raining. I see it's been getting flooded.
No, absolutely.
Last year, it wasn't last year, it was the year before. And then
Yeah, it's too early. Like, I came right out by 5 minutes.
All right, everybody, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Can I ask you guys to please silence your phones, pagers, whatever you have electronic devices? With that being said, we'll go ahead and get started. Stuart City Council tentative agenda Monday, July 13th, 2026, 6 p.m. Council chambers. Call to order. Cobal? Here. Caps?
Here.
Ingers? Here. Nelson?
Here.
Russell?
Here.
All right. If you're able, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everybody. All right. Go ahead. Oh, go. All right, we'll move to number 4, agenda approval. There is going to be, before we make a motion on that, we do need to make an amendment on that. Go ahead, Sarah.
Right, so with the consent agenda to approve some minutes from the June 9th meeting, we had an opportunity to discuss the vote with our bond attorney. And so he made it clear that when a council member is abstaining in that particular motion due to a conflict of interest, and that does not count as a nay. And so the motion actually carried. So it was moved by Kavah, seconded by Caps, to approve proceeding with and refer the bond attorney the tax increment financing application for the total amount of $3.167 million received from Stuart Municipal Utilities for the north substation upgrades and associated electric distribution mainline upgrades. The roll call was ayes, Kavah and Caps, nays, Ingers, and abstain Nelson. And instead of the motion not carried, the minutes will be amended to show that the motion did carry.
Okay, thank you for that. And with that, need a motion? Motion by Cobal with the amendment.
I'll second.
Second by Russell. How do you vote? Cobal?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, consent agenda, approval of minutes of 6/9/2026 and minutes of special meeting of 6/2/2026 and special meeting of 6/23/2026. Approval of financial statements as of 6/30/2026 and tobacco and vape. Need a motion for that?
There's a typo on the 6-2 minutes. In the third paragraph, it says, and their weeks of vacation, it should be 3 weeks of vacation.
It's always so nice to know someone is reading.
Thank you for that, Mr. Marley.
That's part of my job, I was looking for typos.
We appreciate it.
All right, with that, need a motion?
I'll move that.
Moved by Cobble.
Thank you.
A second.
Second by Ingers. How do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay, public forum. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Speaker shall provide their first and last name and town of residence. The council shall not take any action during the public forum. Mr. Cook.
City of Stuart. I just want to address the cemetery real quick. I've heard rumors that they want to close the gates there. First thing is, May 25th, Memorial Day, I believe 10 days after Memorial Day, the flowers are supposed to be picked up. They're starting to float all around the cemetery on my property, so they need picked up. There's 5 gates at the cemetery, and I've discussed this with Chief Rehal, that if you close 5 gates, you're still open to the west. You can still go between the posts on the north there. It limits the people in and out there. I've lived there 28 years, and I see less problems with the gates open, that the police can drive through there and patrol it. Mick Askren has called me different times. The kids had cut a hole in his fence before, and I went up there and couldn't find anybody, but I think the police driving in and out better. You can walk in there anywhere you want. You go through the high pencil fence, in between the cement pillars and the fence posts, anywhere you can walk in there if you want to have destruction. But I like the idea that the police can patrol, especially north of it, driving clear back where Lonnie Bench's stone is. People go back in there with beer cans up, and the police can go in there. Close the gate, you have no idea who's in and out of there.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Cook. Mrs. Amy, come on up.
Kim Avey Stewart. On the agenda is the Legion wanting to donate the building and land to you. That's awesome. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is, please don't shut the skating down. I ran it for almost 10 years, and you get people from 50 miles away, every direction. These kids need this skating rink. So if you guys decide to go ahead and do it, please do not shut the skating down. That's all I gotta say.
Yep, thank you very much. All right, anybody else? Nope. Okay, we'll close the public forum. All right, number 7, old business. I'll turn this over to Jolly.
Good evening, everyone. So Jolly Omar, I'm the City of Stuart's new city administrator. So first meeting, this is day 10. So excited to be here. So I think we'll start with old business. So the TIF application for Travel America. So thank you to PFM, so Chip and his team, and then also Matt for the presentation at the work session. So this is just what we put together. So in evaluating the updated scenarios provided by PFM, the Webster City example serves as a baseline for analyzing how this project was approved in a different community. It is set at $1.2 million rebate cap over 10 years and is dependent upon the project valuation and non-existent revenues for the project. All of the scenarios were designed to ensure the city would be able to fund the infrastructure improvements, utilizing a portion of future increment generated by the project itself and not tied to any property tax or TIF levy changes. After reviewing scenarios for the Travel America pay-as-you-go rebate, again, this means rebate that would only be generated by the property itself. It is up to the council to determine which scenario out of the 2 that I mentioned, so that there's a $2 million cap. That one is kind of married kind of closer to the Webster City example. It's for a town of 1,800 residents. It allows us to not only support this development, but also build increment, so tax increment finance revenues for future infrastructure projects, while also paying for what the DOT is kind of requiring as part of this development, which is 2 traffic signals on the north and south end of the ramp there, and then also sewer relining work, which is tied separately but would be kind of lumped into one project. To protect the city in a future development agreement, staff would recommend setting a minimum assessment agreement or minimum assessed value of $10.5 million so that we can prioritize the city infrastructure project. but also so that the developer can't get the rebate until they hit that minimum valuation. In addition, we could also include in that development agreement some clawbacks that require wage thresholds be met for full-time management staff at the facility prior to receiving the TIF rebates. But overall, it's important to note that both existing gas stations, Quick Star and Casey's, did not receive direct rebates. However, the Travel America project is anticipated to be at least $2 million higher in property valuation compared to the Quick Star project. This current TIF application before you is requesting $4.2 million over 20 years, but it has been mentioned that the project could still move forward, but at a smaller footprint if the council decides to go in a different direction. This project would provide revenues to the city to install traffic signal improvements and sewer infrastructure improvements, which we would not be able to do if not for the project valuation. So again, this will be a discussion for the council, but again, it's currently asking for $4.2 million over 20 years. In my experience in economic development, seeing our existing demand that we've already kind of gained some gas stations over time, travel centers, however you want to call it, we can still continue discussions for a future TIF application, but at this time, staff would recommend not approving the current application as is.
Yep. Any discussion on that from council? Okay, if there's no discussion, I need a motion.
I'll make the motion to deny this TIF application.
Okay, motion by Ingers, need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Russell. How do you vote? Cobal?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Okay, number B, urban renewal plan amendment, proposed projects to be included. Turn that back over to Mr. Omar.
So just looking for some additional guidance. Again, in my experience doing annual urban renewal amendments, typically you'd want to prioritize your infrastructure improvements. So a few that I've gotten at least on my list are the Front Street Whitehall Road project that's on the list currently. So that's projected $3 million, but may need to be increased to $5 million. Depending on engineering estimates. The electric utility north substation project being added in, that's at the top there, $3.1 million. Sewer treatment plant upgrades, that's at about $100,000. But again, tomorrow I'll be doing a tour with Mr. Welker and the engineer that's going to be on site, kind of reviewing our existing infrastructure out there. So probably subject to future review in their engineering report. Continuing the administrative support program, which currently funds the economic development director's salary, Main Street marketing, and with Senate File 2472, just want everyone to be aware. So with the general fund levy, we're going to be restricted to 2% for future year kind of levy restrictions, but we are able to capture new construction growth. So one way that we could potentially have an additional kind of flexibility is paying a portion of the city administrator's salary out of tax increment finance as well. To kind of open up some funding for other general fund operations. So that's an option for the council to kind of look through and examine, but just want to throw that out there as other communities generally we'll look at that as an option for flexibility with the general fund. Seed, so the seed current obligations are current urban renewal program, that's $250,000, but that one doesn't expire for another 4 years, I believe. So that one's still active. The Travel America TIF request was listed on here, but we can remove that one for now. That's asking for $3 million. And then one final thing that I wanted to mention as an addition to the urban renewal amendment, this would be eligible to be used TIF for is funding a certified site process. So this would be working with the property owner, working with the Iowa Economic Development Authority, to kind of identify future industrial ground for future growth, to kind of spur some of that activity here in the city of Stuart. So just wanted to start there. I'm just looking for some additional guidance so that we can get this kind of on the agenda potentially next month to kind of set we have to go through notice of the consultation process, so inviting the tax entities to a designated meeting, and then after that going through a formal public hearing process and then approval. So probably a 2 to 3 month process, but we need to get that done here before January 1, 2027. Otherwise, we'd be subject to the school foundation levy removal, about a 10 to 15% hit and potential increment for revenues in the future. So
So a couple questions on this. I noticed it didn't have
I brought up, funding for streets, curbs and gutters, in like the residential areas, not just, and sidewalks.
Misunderstood you. I thought that was tied to the White Pole Road project.
No, yeah, totally different. That's all right, that's fine. So I wanna include that. I don't know if we can be that vague on it, or if we need specific streets or not.
I think keep it flexible if you can, and we'll
Okay.
flush that out in the plan amendment process.
Okay. The not Saints Center, Community Care Center, 4.3 million, are they gonna have a minimum assessed value of 4.5 or 5 million? Are we gonna get?
So I'll
if we
refer
put that
to,
amount into it?
I'll refer to Chip on this, but we talked a little bit, I think it's $500,000 that would be generated over, is it 20 years that you were seeing from your model?
At a peak amount, that, it's a big ask from, on this particular application. You just, I think I applied the percentage of their square foot value of their property in Guthrie Center, applied it to the proposed square footage here, and it was less than 500,000 that would generate over, I forget the year period. This is a big
That's
ask.
a lot of money to get,
It's a big ask.
$500,000.
The one I've already reached.
Yeah. Something to consider maybe. And again, we can set these amounts as just placeholders, right? We don't have to, like, you could say, White Pole Road, you could increase it to 7 million if you don't get there or whatever.
Yep, and the way we've done it historically, I believe it's not to exceed numbers, so we
Okay.
could set a ceiling for it.
Okay.
but, yeah.
Is there any kind of TIF that we can do to improve the park and pool and stuff, or is that in, well, that's maintenance for city buildings. Is there anything that we can do for that? I think we probably should add something like that then to improve.
Anything that's a fixed asset, look, you can't TIF police cars or a fire truck, but anything else is.
So we can make improvements to stuff up the city park up here if we needed to, so, and the pool if it came up.
Will that go under like a umbrella over like city buildings or whatever?
Well, see, that's what I'm wondering, if we could include it under the maintenance of city buildings,
Yeah.
Set a ceiling that accounts for those improvements.
Yeah, that would account for stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because it depends on what's coming up,
Right.
another building or whatever, so.
Right, no,
Okay.
that's fine, yeah, it'd be good to include something like that.
Possibly, I guess. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Omar? Okay.
When do you want, numbers and stuff, should we?
So as long as we can get, so I've got some general direction here to move forward, we can get some of those estimates on what that would cost, and then we can start kind of that
Okay.
process. But
All right.
would you like to have I assume a finalized list before we move forward with that process?
Yeah, I think there's maybe, do we have the?
I would probably say so, yes. Because this needs to be done
We'll clean this up, and then I think the August meeting will be the formal approval, and then we'll move forward with setting the consultation period and kind of the urban renewal amendment process after the fact, so.
Okay, yeah, I'm just okay, that's fine. So we can change numbers at that time too if
Yep.
we need to. Once we find out, yeah.
Okay. Did you have something? Zach? No? Okay. All right. Thank you for that. All right, moving on. Number C, city employee wages, 2026, 2027. Again, I'll turn it over to Mr. Omar.
So, staff, so in the previous kind of fiscal year budgeting for the current fiscal year, so fiscal year 2027, it was adequately budgeted for the 4% cost of living adjustment, but the reason why we are recommending that is because for cities, you normally want parity between union negotiated cost of living adjustment increases and your non-union employees. So for the current fiscal year, that is the recommendation. As we get into fiscal year 2028, that will be a different story because we'll be subject to the 2% levy restrictions. So the recommendation before you is just for the 4%. So as long as we can get kind of council support in unison, the next month will be the formal resolution to adopt that for the current fiscal year.
Need a motion on that or anything? No.
This doesn't affect your wage for this year, right?
It would, I think, for this year.
Okay.
It would be like a non-union employee. But as you can see in the memo, any future, so what we're recommending for the next fiscal year, you typically want to do performance reviews before you get the cost of living adjustment. So what we're doing in development right now is job descriptions for everyone, responsibilities, so that around June time before July 1 of next year, we'll be doing performance reviews to justify those improvements in the future, so.
Okay. We don't need nothing on that for right now, right? Or do you need a motion on that?
No, as long as we get.
Yeah, just
unified
information.
support, yep.
Yep, okay. All right, moving on. Number 8, new business. 423 Southwest Second Street, water runoff complaint. Mr. Neal, I'll have you come up.
Alan Neal, Stuart. Most of you guys know me, most of you guys got the stuff that I emailed to the council. Most of you probably been by the house, seen what we've done. Tony and I invested a lot of money into the property, got probably close to 20 grand after we bought it. But anyway, water runoff according to your guys' own city ordinance, 149, I believe it is, how it's supposed to be controlled. You guys have seen the pictures. Previous years, I talked to Rich. Rich used to mow that right there where it jumps onto his first. City's dumped concrete in there to try to slow it down, was their kind of deal. The ditch is just getting deeper and deeper as it goes through. Sunday was the first time I could mow it this year, the whole thing, just because of the wetness. So I guess I'm just here to come in front of the council and see if there's a game plan. What we do according to the city ordinance, I think it has to be dry within 24 hours from the storm runoff, that you're responsible for it, everybody is. So, I put this together and send it to you guys just to see what the council's thoughts, plans, how do we move forward so we can get it dried up and continue to develop this over there.
This, something that we'd have to get, like, Forrest to come in and take a look at, if he hasn't already, or?
Yeah, so I think, especially with this one, this is already in front of our city attorney, just to kind of confirm what our legal responsibility
Oh, okay.
is. So I think from a staff perspective, we've kind of taken note of your feedback and concerns, and so we'll get back to you with an update from city
Yeah, that's
attorney on
all
that, so.
Okay, with the council for you. All right, thanks, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. All right. All right, letter B, proposal to purchase property from city, parcel 0405-256010. Raul, is he here tonight? Okay,
So I can
yeah, go ahead.
provide a little color on this one, but, so Raul's, he currently owns a property to the east, of this, city-owned parcel. The property is currently assessed at $18,360, the one that he's looking to purchase. But as this would be subject to Iowa Code 364.7, with council's recommendation, the city administrator and city attorney will look to begin the process of selling the property, but it has to go through a public hearing process, setting a fair market value for the property before we would entertain his current offer for the property, $6,000, but we'd have to go through the legal steps to properly dispose of the property.
We're currently taking care of that now, Josh. All right. Does he own any other property over there, did he say, in that area, or just next to it?
To the south.
Yeah, to the south.
But I mean, any other, yeah, I know he owns the one on the corner where Code had the trucks, right?
Yep,
Does he own does he like own the house, or is it just that empty lot?
just the empty
Just the
lot.
empty lot?
Yep.
It's not like we're closing the road, you know? I mean, I don't, if he,
It's kind of a smaller
Yeah, if you want to take care of it, you know, it's, we haven't, you know, we've sold property before.
One less property to mow for the guys, and
That's- see,
we can
that's
give them a
what I'm
little bit of
thinking.
tax money off of it.
Yeah, yeah, so you need a motion to entertain that and move it forward to go through the proper steps then?
If that's what you want for it, if.
I think we need
Yeah.
to.
You want us to
let's
kind of
start-
move forward?
I
with
would
the
make a
city
motion to start that process.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion by Cobble, second by Nelson. How do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Capps?
Yes.
English? Yes. Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, letter C. Stuart American Legion Post 146, proposal to donate property to city. Yeah. Come on up.
Need to loosen up.
Ah, we got plenty of time. Take your time.
The Legion was actually built in 1980, or came online in 1980. At that time, there was about 125 people involved of World War II crew. Through the years, we've come down to 39. And those 39 people, we go from 65 to 92. We don't have a lot of help, because a lot of them have health issues, so they can't do a lot. At the funeral the other day, there was only 3 of us available to do the honor guard. So we're really getting to the point where continuing the Legion, which we want to do, but Legion makes no money, has no income, except for 2 fish fries a year. The roller skating rink pays all the utilities, the insurances, and everything else. If we can't keep the insurance, or the roller skating rink up and running, we gotta shut down the building. And like Kim said, we pull from a very wide area. We've even pulled people out of Missouri to come up and roller skate on special occasions. So the reason we kind of put this out forward to you is we're looking for options of what we gotta do to save it. And we don't know where we're going from here. I have no idea what the building's worth. I pay all the bills for the roller skating rink. I also do all the financing for the Legion. I also take care of the state requirements that we have to have in for like our kitchen and inspections. I gotta make sure those are all up to date and all the nonprofits up to date. So we just kind of threw it out there to see if there was anything we could do, or we could, point us in a different direction and help us out. So thank you for your time.
Good. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Gruber, or anything, or have any discussion?
Well, is it more of a, I know you need help as in physical help, for people probably to run it and take care of it, but is it looking like for financing to fix stuff and keep it up to date, that type of thing?
We have a $22,000 money in the account strictly for the building. We can't use it for anything else. We can't buy chairs, we can't buy roller skates, we can't buy any of that. It's just for the building itself. The problem we're having is we don't have the income that we need, and we don't have the people to run it. If Chuck Avey and his wife moved to New Mexico, we don't have anybody back behind them to come up. So we're kind of at a point where we gotta figure out what we're gonna do down the road. Does it make any sense?
Yeah.
I mean, me doing the flags the other day, I couldn't hardly get the ladder up against the post to get the flags out. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think the big thing with it is, the Legion's asking for help to see if the city can take on the responsibility of the building, and obviously, with the Legion's assistance, they need to figure out who they can find to run the skating rink. Because right now, obviously, ISA runs that and gets a small salary as part of that, and they would look for somebody to kind of replace that. And I know in the past, they've had a kind of a roller skating board that kind of helps oversee everything. Okay, there still is kind of something in place for that. So, to look for more volunteers that would be willing to come do that. I mean, they have kids, for those that don't know, they have kids that come and work, during the roller skating times to help support that and help with roller skates, putting them on, adjusting the wheels, things like that. So really, it's seeing, can the city do something to take on the responsibility, and then the Legion has to help out, or the city, I don't know if that would be the city's responsibility then, to help make sure that there is a roller skating manager and people to help support that. I mean, this building's been a staple in our community. I mean, as a scout leader, we utilize that building on a weekly basis to not only house our meetings, but to help store some of our equipment there. You know, we are a partner of the Legion. We help out with their fish fries. The building has lots of uses for, you know, events, family reunions, stuff like that. I mean, it would be definitely a great loss to this community. I mean, the money they generate from it is useful.
We pull a lot of people in from around the whole areas.
So if we took on the responsibility of making sure there was like a roller skating manager, then that would basically be another city employee. So would it be more something that if we did get that donated to us, where we did something like we did with the cultural center?
That's probably more what I'm imagining. It'd be more like that,
Okay,
more of a contract.
right. And then, you know, we would, you know, look at some sort of terms of a lease agreement, like we did with the cultural center, you know, whatever that may be type of thing. I think we need to definitely look at it, kind of get with Jolly and some people and, you know, see what we can figure out, maybe sit down with Ron too. You'd definitely be included in that and see what we can get together, so. I'd hate to say something right here, definitely do, but.
Yeah.
And I think there's some time, wasn't it, like 2027, in 27 that,
We still have some time.
okay,
Oh, okay.
Yes.
okay,
We're not right up against the wall, but we're getting closer.
sure.
I appreciate the heads up. It helps us out a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Did you guys need any more discussion on that, or are you good for right now? You good? Okay. All right, letter D, zoning ordinance proposed change regarding alcohol and tobacco sales. Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation. I'll turn that over to Mr. Funk. Do you want to talk on behalf of that?
I prepared and stuff a memorandum in front of your desk for the meeting. P&Z met on the Community Care Center Building Edition and the alcohol and tobacco. Regarding the alcohol and tobacco, P&Z is suggesting, you asked for their recommendation is 150-foot barrier or from the school,
The radius type.
maybe from the school property line.
With the school uptown here, where's that at? Is it tennis court part of theirs, or is that?
It'd be from the whole property line of the,
But where's that at? I don't know where that's at.
it would include the tennis court.
It does include the tennis courts.
Yeah.
So basically 50 yards from the tennis court,
150 foot.
well, yeah, 50 yards. So,
Yeah. That would,
so that'd be kind of down around into Johnny's area and stuff like that, right across the street, right? Is that
Yeah.
about 50 yards down?
The theater's
I'm not a
gonna
very
be
good
close
judge of
to that.
distance, because I got glasses.
Theater sells.
they would be grandfathered in.
Right, but if they sold or another business wanted to come in there.
I mean, what does that do to the theater, which obviously currently does alcohol sales? They sell wine.
The theater, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If that impacts them.
So would that be grandfathered in then, though?
Anything that's up there should be grandfathered. 'Cause
Grandfathered,
I think,
yes.
I think, you know, the last time we talked about this, you know, I talked to Steve, you know, he said, even if it sells, as long as the business maintains pretty much the same type of business, then they still stay grandfathered in at that point. But if it changes, then it'll lose that, and then somebody else comes in, then they would lose that too. So that's why I said I didn't know if the school owned the tennis courts yet. That's why I'm asking. Are you talking
There's
from
a
Main Street?
150-foot separation requirement between West Central Valley Community School District property and business engaged in alcohol, tobacco, and retail sales.
And that's why I'm just trying to figure out, tennis courts are the schools, right? That's the main thing, so, okay, and then 150 feet if somebody wanted to build out here across the street. I think they'd still be able to out there.
Mr. Renzo, did you have a comment?
Put in reference, city blocks anywhere from 350 to 400 feet, so,
Oh, so,
I mean, half a block,
okay,
put in a little
okay,
perspective.
thank you.
Thank you for that info. Anybody else have any questions, discussion? If not, I'll need a motion for the recommendation from P and Z.
I'll make the motion that we follow the P and Z's recommended motion of creating an ordinance establishing a 150-foot separation requirement between West Central Valley Community School District property and business engagement in alcohol and tobacco retail sales.
I'll second.
Moved by Caps, second by Nelson. How do you vote? Caldwell?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Did you get all that motion down? Is that good? I know that was a lot.
I mean, just for reference, I did look it up on my phone. To the intersection is about 170-ish feet, give or take, so it would be basically to that intersection. So anything west of that would be outside of that area.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. Moving on, letter E, Community Care Center Building Addition, approval of site plan. I will let Mr. Funk take the reins on that as well.
Planning and zoning review. Site plan. Motion was moved to recommend approval of the Community Care Center Building Addition Site Plan as submitted to them. The commission found the proposal site plan to be consistent with the applicable zoning regulations and suitable for recommendation to the City Council.
Anybody have any questions on that? I know Forrest isn't here tonight, but he was at the P and Z meeting, Forrest was as well, and with engineers from Bishop, talked to P and Z, and everything was a green light on Forrest's end as well. So, excuse me, sir, go ahead.
Yes, I'm Rick Baumel with Bishop Engineers.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, come on up if you'd like to
procedural
talk.
process here I need to be part of.
Yep, and come on up.
We don't need to slow your meeting down.
Oh, no.
I'd be glad to answer any questions you
Totally
have,
fine.
if you'd like a little quick overview, or.
Sure. Go ahead.
So the site plan is pretty small in nature. It's like the two additions to the facility there. I think they add up to like a little over 4,000 square feet. And as I understand it, like there was a little confusion at the P and Z meeting, what these were for. They're not really, I don't think looking to add residents is there, but as I understand it, that wing is currently empty, and they're making 4 rooms on that so they can undouble some other units within their building and other parts of the, does that make sense? I'm kind of getting this kind of like a game. You all probably know more about what goes on there than I do, but that's, from the architect's perspective, that's what's going on there. So there's really not gonna be an increase in, it's not like they're doubling something to get tons more people in there. From a site plan perspective, there's some parking stalls on the west side of the building where this is gonna go. We're gonna relocate those to the south. They asked that we add several, like 4 or 5 more stalls, so they have that up front, I think where the offices are on the south side of their campus there. There's a water line that has to be relocated. Power, I think, needs to be relocated. Drainage is a bit of a challenge there, but we're do the best we can to keep it going the way that it's currently draining now. I think the memory guarding that was there as part of the wing that is empty now. We're planning to replace that. But that's really about all the project entails.
I'm guessing utilities has been on these conversations about relocating services.
Not that I'm aware of.
Well, the service is gonna be their own private service.
Okay, it's the private side, okay.
Yeah, so they're, I think they, for the water, I think they tap into the street to the north. They're talking about maybe it's a little shorter if they move down the line and make a new tap and come in more directly from the west rather than do kind of an S curve down, but I think that can be worked out, I suppose, when they get their permits, that type of thing. Those other utilities, sanitary, that's coming through the existing building, communication, those types of things. Even their sanitary will come, the water come through. I think they're relocating their water because they maybe went to another spot in the addition, but, like I said, that'll get worked out when they come for their building permits, plumbing permits.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for this gentleman? Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you. All right, I need a motion on that.
I'll move that.
Moved by Cobble,
I'll second.
second by Russell. How do you vote? Cobble?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
All right, 11F, request to use ball fields as sports complex for circus, Stuart Lions Club.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christie, you want to speak on behalf of that?
Christy Lonsdale, the Stuart Lions. The circus has been here, in 15 it came, and we were able to put it out where the helicopter pad is. Of course, you know, we've lost that. Then it wasn't until 24 that we brought them back, and it was approved to have it out to the sports complex. Well, we had no bad weather. I think they found one pile of, excuse my language, animal poop that didn't get picked up, but there wasn't any damage. They were very good at picking up. And they have it on schedule to come back and visit us every 2 years. Barb and I had talked, we thought it was okay with the sports, with the soccer area. She thought it was okay. Matt and I talked with you, Corey, a couple times about it. It seems to be, you know, are we gonna have it on the soccer fields where it's gonna be? And I think according to Matt, Josh, you've been working at a place to put it.
Yeah, I had provided a map to the council, and after talking with the soccer board president again, I think with the timing of soccer coming up, I think our best bet to do this is to put it on the alfalfa field. I've talked to the farmer who does it. The Public Works and the Water Department just got water out to that far field, so we'd have to stretch hose about 350 feet, and I think that would eliminate everyone's concerns. And I did talk to the guy who does the circus. He'd like 300 by 300 square foot area, and he'd like to be able to pull his trucks up. So there are 2 flat areas within the alfalfa field that I think would be ideal.
Is the yellow the alfalfa field?
The red to the south
Okay.
would be kind of where we were thinking after I talked with Mr. Aldry. So.
Thank you.
And as far as money, we've sold over 2,000 tickets. There would be 2 shows at 5 and 7. The Lions have made anywhere from $700 to $2,000 from this. We give money to the school, last time we've done this, to set up a fund for the teachers, for supplies. So if they need things, because the Lions always gives all the money they make, the profits, back into the community. So we don't keep any of the money. Of course, this, we don't really have any expenses. Avi's donated the dumpster, and that's all that I have to provide. I left a message, see if they do it again this year, and they bring their own porta potties. So everything will just be, we'll sell tickets, and the Lions take the tickets at the gate, and it was well received, like I said, when we've had it in the past, so.
So Josh, going back to this map, on the red, that was indicated not to be used, but now you're saying that you and Mr. Allgreen did have a conversation and that's where it's gonna be.
So the red would be the alfalfa field that the city also owns out there.
Right.
Which there's no lease on that. The soccer club has gone through the proper procedures and have all the paperwork filled out for field, so I feel, you know, after talking with Mr. Allgreen, I think it'd be wrong to, just put it on there. So, I know slow pitch is coming as well, which kind of eliminates, Jim Claver, and the other fields are too small, so, kind of a only option we have is to mow that down. I've talked to Steve, he's gonna get that baled prior to, and then, we can take our mowers out there and make it a little nicer. And then, the only other thing would be, once the soccer club has their fields laid out, maybe less traffic on that area, so maybe have some sort of a flagged walkway. That's what the one line on there is for. And we could also have, easy accessible parking to the east, and then everyone else use the 2 parking lots that we have.
So that blue area, we could, that's not gonna affect anything soccer field wise,
No,
correct?
that's all alfalfa as
Okay.
well.
All right. So
And the
per-
date is 9/2 on a Wednesday night. So it is not 9/5, it is 9/2 on a Wednesday night.
And I believe soccer starts when? August? So, I mean, you're in the heart of soccer season, fall soccer, so.
And just to kind of clear the air a little bit, so there was some confusion when this first came up. Mrs. Lonsdale did approach me and ask me my opinion on this. I did give my opinion that I think this is great to come to the community. I think it's great for families, children of all ages. But there's some other conversations that I had to have with people. There was feelings that got hurt. That wasn't the intent of anything, but we are a small community. If we all can just come to the table, have those conversations, resolve this, it's easy peasy. But I think there was just a lot of scuttlebutt going on there for a little while, and it's not necessary. So I think moving forward, let's have those conversations. Let's sit down at the table. Let's bring all the stakeholders together. We can have those conversations, and I think we can come to a good solution. So thank you for that. Mr. Martinson.
One topic on that. One thing we might keep in the back of our heads on using that alfalfa field. I hope this comes, I hope the circus comes to town. I think it's a great idea. Just, we gotta keep in the back of our minds, if we get 2-3 inches of rain the night before, that's gonna be a mess.
I have made a contact with my guy up in Ankeny for Carl Chevrolet with Scott, and they're looking to see how much area they have, that they might be able to be a backup site for us.
Perfect.
So I just talked to him, didn't know, it's been emailed back and forth. So I don't know yet, but if anybody has any other ideas of a location, we have to, of course, be able to have access to water.
Sure.
And electricity, and that's basically it.
And
But we're open for other locations if anybody can think of something.
Sure.
Because they'll wanna come back again in another 2 years, so.
And there was also talk, the last time that what the circus left behind was manure and stuff from the animals. I volunteered myself just to go out there and clean up after them.
Yeah,
If they don't clean up after themselves, that's on me. I will take care of it. So that will kind of settle the dust on some things as well. So, but yeah, so I'm just throwing that out there. So I'm gonna leave it to the council. I'll need a, oh, absolutely. Come on up. Sorry, Mike.
Mike Allgreen, Stuart, with the soccer club, currently the president of the soccer club. Not opposed to the circus coming at all. Just want to make that clear. It sounds like I agree with Mayor Kirkpatrick on just communication on things, and when we're a nonprofit organization as well, that we pay, either the field would be covered in weeds and it wouldn't be, that space wouldn't be as nice as it is if we didn't run soccer on them. Even Josh and I talked a little bit, and I don't know if it rains, it could be an option too. I talked to Josh, or I don't know if I can see your map.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I believe the orange highlighted section on your guys' map, that's what we use for, our older kids' practice. We've been fortunate at the school, like, we don't maintain it as well any longer because the school allows us to play all of our games out on the turf field. So we don't main that field as high as quality as we try to the other fields to keep them safe. to practice on it a little bit. Of course, with more and more sports coming to the area, which is a good thing, but challenging when you're running a program. We do run it, you know, have some, not conflict, but issues sorting out schedules with football and things like that, also being on the turf. But I do think the school would even potentially let our older U14 or U14 through U19 teams even use the grass field back behind. So the U14 field up top could be an option as well. Like I said, we're a nonprofit, we don't make money, we lost money last season actually. So putting, I think we spent $6,000 last year helping maintain the field with aeration and things like that, so. And seed pays for a portion in there as well, maintaining that stuff. But definitely just will make clear, we're not opposed to it, and I mean, that could be an option too if it rains, it's easier to put it up on that part. And like Josh said, the only thing I'd ask, I mean, we'd have our fields laid out by then and painted. And if it rained, you know, just keeping like maybe traffic off the main part of the field. So we try to move the fields around to keep the grass for our city agreement we sign every time anyway. I guess that's it. If anyone has any questions?
Appreciate you being flexible as well, so thanks for the help.
You know, do things to make enough money, there's no reason why we couldn't donate something to the soccer club.
Yeah.
Alliance is looking for ways to donate the money from the events we have. So that's an option. We give some money to the school for their account, but we've never given anything to the soccer club. So that could be something we could donate some of the money back to you guys from this too, so.
Now we're starting to come around as a community.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you.
that would be great.
Perfect. Okay. All right.
Mike, just so we're 100% clear, you're cool with the red part being, having the circus on the red portion?
Well,
The red.
alfalfa.
The long box.
Yeah.
down
You
there.
Yeah, I think this is where they're proposing
Yeah.
to put it now.
It'll be clear to the very south against that tree line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't have anything down there. It'd be anything to the west of the orange, right between the parking lot and the orange boxes are main U10, U12 fields that we really try to keep nice, and then also currently the football field, we try to keep nice. We keep our U4 through U8 on those fields, our smaller fields. So we try to keep those at a safer playing level if we do play games on those.
Sure.
But yeah, I think the red would be fine, but if it came, like I said, we've got some leeway too. We understand it's a city property, and we're not opposed to this event or anything. It's just coming to a, we have to make sure. The only other thing I guess I didn't think of, parking wise, are they gonna park up in that part or back?
I would think,
I think-
depending on rain as well,
Yeah.
you know, our more easily accessible parking, we could put some handicap parking sort of up by the fence or the tent.
Yep.
But mainly use the parking lots that are already established.
Yeah, I just know, I mean, we can put something out, we'll have teams practicing. I think we finished registration today and we were at like 224 kids registered. So there will be teams practicing and we'll put it out. Maybe they won't practice those nights, but so there will be some traffic congestion too. I don't know how to sort that out.
Sure.
To some extent, but.
Yeah, I think they planned on, obviously, the green, and then I think Josh mentioned the blue area could be parking also.
For the handicap, but, and I think if it's dry out, I don't think the vehicles are gonna hurt anything or
Right.
whatever, but we're just discussing like if it's a wet condition, yeah, it might be an issue.
And I just, like I said, there already be some cars and, times, like times.
They will, the one is at 5 and the next show is at 7. And they'll pull in the morning. Now, there will be a guy that will come the day before. He'll call me. We can be out there and, I don't know if Dave told you this or not, but he can be out there when they show up and make sure they know exactly where all their area is at. And he actually stays there that night. So when they come in early in the morning, he's there to say this, direct people, on where to go and where to park.
Yeah,
So-
more showtime maybe, I mean, if we stay in communication with that, then I could pass the info on to the coaches, and maybe they'll wanna try to avoid practice those days, or maybe we can try to limit traffic congestion
Yeah.
out there. But it will be a lot nicer with the road paved though, so thank you for that.
They won't actually start pulling equipment
No.
until in the morning,
Not-
early morning. So, and a good thing, they do provide tickets to me for the care center. So residents from the care center will be paid for them to get transported out, and they have a wheelchair area, and they will help us get the care center people.
Perfect.
And then I also get tickets if we know of any needy families that maybe can't afford to buy the tickets, that I can have some tickets to give out, so you can, let me know up to the Stuart Herald if we think of anybody, or you know of somebody that you'd like to see, and people can buy tickets and designate them to go to needy families too. So the circus really tries to help, make sure that everybody can afford to go. If there are people we know in town that have maybe a big family and, people that have 2 kids, it's a lot easier to do stuff than people that have 6, 7 kids.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for everybody that had a hand involved in this. Appreciate you guys for coming to a solution and working this out. I know it was kind of rough waters there for a while, but we all came together and we got this figured out. So I do appreciate that. Thank you.
Nat and Josh put a lot of work in.
So
Colin and helping.
I'll make a motion that we approve that.
Okay.
comment. And just as long as you guys stay in communication if you need a backup. So
Okay.
on the red part, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Whatever you wanna call it, the alfalfa part, the alfalfa field. And then just talk to each other if you need a backup.
Okay. Moved by Caldwell. Second by Ingers. How do you vote? Caldwell?
Yes.
Cabs?
Yes.
Ingers? Yes. Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Right. Letter G, cemetery rules and regulations, council approval of recommended update cemetery committee. I'll turn it over to Mr. Johnson. Or was I supposed to turn it over to Mrs. Kirkpatrick?
Either
Okay,
one.
okay.
And I will come up and help you too, if there's any.
Perfect, thank you,
stuff
sir.
left over.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and just for the record, my name's Michael Johnson, I'm the secretarial liaison. I'm here tonight with Crystal Kirkpatrick. She is not only the chair, but the secretary of that city cemetery committee as well. We just want to thank everyone for taking time to review the updated rules and regulations that we put into the packets tonight. The cemetery committee has met over the last few weeks to review these current rules. Our goal was not to rewrite this entire packet. A lot of work went into that back in 2014. What we wanted to do was update the needed areas for clarification and modernization. Really, there was only 3 primary changes that we're recommending. First, we wanted to clarify the roles and responsibilities of the city, the cemetery liaison, and the cemetery committee, so there's a clear understanding moving forward. Second was updated cemetery fee schedules, the cemetery lot prices, opening and closing fees, and the city marking fee, which has not been updated or adjusted since 2014. There was language updated in 2019, but the pricing itself has remained the same since 14. We compared our fees to other surrounding communities, and we felt it was fair. Third, we updated the interment regulations to allow 2 full-size burial vaults on one spot out there. In the past, that's kind of been, we've went back and forth since 2014 on that. We've always allowed, say, a full burial and a set of cremains to be buried on one spot, or 2 sets of cremains buried on one spot, but we've never allowed 2 full-size burial vaults to be buried on one spot. There are a lot of cemeteries that do. The veteran cemetery out here, that's how they handle theirs. So if you're husband and wife, you get one spot. They'll dig down 12 feet instead of 6, and they'll just go ahead and stack on top of one another. What that does is that, gives families more options, number one, and actually reserves some spaces out there in the cemetery as well. What we do, as it's on the fly, as say like monuments, instead of doing a wider stone to cover 2 spots, what you do is you just revert and you go up. And so you're basically taking 1 spot instead of 2. Because there are a lot of folks that go ahead and put a stone out, and then they decide, you know what, we're gonna be cremated following, and so now you have an empty spot, or they're gonna do 2. So we updated that rule, and that's one thing that we really, I've been trying to push for since 2014, but I think that's necessary.
Other revisions throughout the document were primarily housekeeping for clarity, updating outdated language, and making sure the rules are easier to understand, not only by us, but for the city as well. You know, when we call out, we'll either speak, my main goal is to speak with Sarah, you know, mostly. Sometimes she's not available, so we'll have to speak with Ashley or Alan or somebody like that, you know, before, you know, the fees and so forth were just kind of scattered throughout the rules and regulations. I do it very well, but I mean, unless you look at it every day, you're not gonna be able to follow along, so we tried to make everything on one list. That way, everything was being charged, cause I can't remember the last time we ever charged, for, say, like, winter months. Usually from November to, March, per se, usually includes a winter month, where you have heating, basically heating in your grave. You know, we had a charge on there for $200, to do that. That's never been charged before, to my knowledge, since 2014. So that's something that, you know, we kind of made sure was outlined on here too. So we're covering our cost with, the gas, regardless of whether you do gas or like what we do in every other cemetery is we go out and get charcoal. We don't use gas, we get like 4 bags of charcoal, we open them up, we put lighter fluid on it, we let that burn, it burns all night, when we come back, we clean that up, we get the grave, and it works out much easier than gas, and it saves a lot of money versus a 100-gallon tank sitting there burning all night unattended. Yeah, you know, you hate to leave things like that unattended, but, those were basically the biggest, changes that we had. Again, we didn't want to have to take the time to rewrite everything. It was just since we have the city doing certain things, the city cemetery liaison doing certain things, and I work directly with the cemetery committee, we just wanted to make sure that everything reflected in here to correspond with that moving forward when families come in, get a spot, or if they call me and they have a question, we allow to handle that, or who to send them to, you know, so that makes it a lot easier that way. But, you know, unless the council has questions, I mean, we're here to answer any questions. We would move for approval on what we have here, so.
I have a quick question.
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah.
If you know.
No, go
So I
ahead.
know we had a big debate a few years ago about the software that we use up here.
No.
The software for the graves and stuff.
Yeah.
How is that? Because I thought that was going to be online for people to do that. Is that something you guys might be looking at? Or?
Well, we'd like to address that. Our first, you know, we've only had basically one meeting and a special meeting. And I thought the first thing we needed to do was make sure this was reorganized. Personally, I'm very OCD. I like things just like so, and I like them laid out like that. But that is something that we do want to take time to look at. Make sure that, my goal was moving forward, even back then with the old cemetery committee, was that we had a program that the city could access on an administrative side, and one that the public could access too. Basically, if I was sitting in my office, we're at home, I could basically type in a name, you know, a loved one of mine, if I wanted to buy space, it would actually bring that up. I could do a 360 all the way around. It'd show me exactly who was buried out there, how many people were buried on one spot out there, which ones were taken, which ones weren't, and I'd be able to basically buy that spot without ever coming into the city. I'd send, okay, I'd check, this is the one I want, it'd come directly to Sarah, she would approve it. Of course, Mayor Corey would have to sign the deeds and stuff like that, as we always do, because the mayor always has to sign the deeds, and then that would be executed, and then it'd go out to the family at that point in time. Or what works out really well for like us, so we travel all over the place in the state of Iowa setting monuments. A lot of cemeteries I deal with are smaller, you know, county-based cemeteries, you know, they're not gonna have nearly the equipment or the sophistication that we have out here. But I get in towards Omaha, Des Moines, some of these areas, you know, when I'm needing to find a spot, it's GPS. So they walk out there, they click, they send me the coordinates to it, I go out and I can find a flag within just a few
that's a big difference, you know, I was in a cemetery that was tons of acres, 100 acres. And then I went to a cemetery that was 50. You know, now I should be able to find a spot in that cemetery faster than I can, you know, a small one, but, you know, there are certain things, but, you know, this was just to get started, and we'd like to get this knocked out of the way, and then we can kind of focus on some of the other stuff. You know, beautification is really, you know, my main thing, you know, you want the cemetery looking beautiful when you go there. I know I was at a cemetery here a while back, I pulled in, that big grass was 10 inches tall, if not longer, you know, that we have there, so beautification, I feel like they've been doing a great job with the mowing out here. It's fantastic. I've never seen that. It's great, you know, looks like a park, so hopefully that answers your question.
No, that's fine, yeah, I didn't know where we were with, if we had that yet, 'cause I know we talked about it, so. Are you leaving right after this, right after you're done here? Okay, before you leave, I did read the minutes on here, and I noticed you talked about cameras.
Yes.
Okay, so if you remember, we did pass that you can get camera out there.
Yeah.
So you might wanna get with Sarah or somebody and see when that's been like, what, 3 or 4 years ago?
Probably 4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, it's at least 4 years ago. So you'd have at least the ability to get at least one, and I know it was for the north one.
Yeah,
So,
that was for the North Cemetery.
right,
Just simply because that's the one that we've had problems
Right,
in, so,
exactly.
South Oak, we haven't had really many issues out
Okay.
there. You know, now every once in a while, I do see people out there milling around, but, yeah, we did have that, but I figured we'd just come to the city council when that time came and said, hey, we'd like to do these things, and that way we always have that communication going. Are you guys okay with that, or?
Yep.
I
Sorry.
would like to clarify, we did go through the process, we got the grant for the cemetery software, we didn't purchase it, it's through the same municipal software that we use, which is G-Works.
Okay.
But we did not realize the immense amount of time that it would take to enter all of the data that we have here. We do have the ability to indicate which spaces are available, how many people are in them, so family members know if they still have, room for one more. So it's just something that, it happened during COVID, things have been kind of crazy for years and years, so we are working on it as we can. And once we get the data entered and verified, then it will be something that is available to the public to go in and access as well.
Perfect. And I do wanna let you know if there is, if you're needing extra people like volunteers to be able to type, we did have, 2 or 3 ladies that you all well know. I don't wanna mention their names since we're on camera here, just in case you change your mind. But they are very thorough, a couple of them were for me, they said they'd be more than willing to donate time, back then, to come in and type. I'm sure they're gonna have a lot of questions, so I don't know if you want that behind or not, but, you do have some people that want to, volunteer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Anybody else have any questions for Mr. Johnson? Need a motion for that to
I move for that.
I'll second.
move by Caldwell, second by Russell. How do you vote? Caldwell?
Yes.
Capps?
Yes.
Dingworth? Yes. Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. We're gonna take a 2-minute recess.
I was waiting to hear back from you, you guys were. Oh, yeah, no, sorry, yeah. We.
So I don't know, if they have something else.
No, it's kind of quiet. Get the support words.
Make coffee, that was wrong.
Yeah, and like I said, when I talked to Corey, he's like,
We need a, I wonder if they can put like a portable microphone.
oh, yeah.
to start a name for the city.
I was gonna say, I got a booming voice. Can't hear him, okay.
Not as great of a mic.
Some of my other flashes.
Yeah. You gotta go like this.
Think out the ceiling.
What's that? Got it. I did, but I didn't care about it, I guarantee. I wonder if he's got something to say. Yeah.
So,
Just
I was just telling him.
This one doesn't have an external panel.
Bring this meeting back to order. All right, we'll move to letter H, special events policy and discussion.
I'll take
You can take that.
So on your desk, you'll find a draft ordinance for a special events kind of permit process. So the goal of it is to kind of help us establish kind of with the circus, as an example, kind of a formal approval of, hey, the city council recognizes and approves the special event, but also a cost recovery process too. So with that, just trying to take into account through the authorization of public safety, stating whether or not we need either individuals or apparatus there for the event. And so, and then dedicating kind of a cost either per hour basis to help identify ways to kind of recoup kind of city expenses for providing service to the public. So that's just an initial discussion point. Really wanted to get the council's feedback on whether or not we should kind of move forward with that process. The draft ordinance has gone through legal review, so City Attorney Dalen has seen it and he has approved. So the chief is who put together the ordinance example. And so with council's direction, we can kind of move forward and approve that for next month.
Yeah, I think we should have something, because our lack of having no policies for just about everything kind of comes back and bites us. Is this gonna be an actual ordinance or just a policy, like you throw it up on the website and it says, hey, here's what you gotta do? Or is it actually gonna be an ordinance?
So from my understanding, our city attorney recommended the ordinance
Doing an
process
ordinance?
for that. So
Okay.
3 readings and then
Okay.
publication after.
Okay. Anybody else?
So you're just looking for the go-ahead to keep developing it? I would say yes.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Is that your motion, Mike?
Do you need a motion on that?
Or do we just move
Are you
forward?
just looking for
So
direction?
just moving
Because
forward?
we're
Okay.
not really,
Perfect.
yeah,
All right, thank you.
thank you.
All right. Letter I, Safety Commission. I'll turn this over to Mr. Capps. You have something to talk about, don't you?
I always have something to talk about, we know that. So, starting off the year, we started having some citywide trainings at the direction of Mayor Kirkpatrick. And what we've done as leaders in town is we've expanded that into a formal safety committee. So we're in the very early stages of starting that process. We have our tentative agendas and members and all that stuff put together. So we are working with Janice, with our insurance company. It's a lot of the department heads in town. And the goal basically is to have a safety committee for a couple of reasons. To coordinate training for city staff on safety-related issues, and for reporting of near miss and incidents that occur. Ultimately, to make our work environment safer, but also it will help bring down the cost of our insurance as well. So we're, like I said, pretty early on in that process, but it's going very well. We're excited about it.
That's always helpful if we can lower the insurance, if that will help.
Nobody's upset by that.
No, nobody's gonna be upset by that. Perfect. All right, thanks for the update. All right, we'll move on to J, Parks and Recreation Committee. So Mr. Omar and myself, we're gonna kind of provide some information to you guys and just let you guys think about it. Not look for any motions or anything tonight, but this was brought up at one of our leadership meetings that we had a couple weeks ago about, and what started this was Good Egg Days. There was a handful of people that were cleaning out flower beds and everything around town. There was a group that did some, and my wife and I did one, and we was just like, could we just put all this, lump a bunch of this projects into like a Parks and Recs committee, which we know Barb Boss is on there, and it's like, how can we help Barb? Like, can we grow this? Can we expand this so Barb can get some help? And Jolly's gonna talk about some funding that can come along with that. So as leaders, when we sitting around the table discussing this, we all kind of agreed like, oh boy, this would be great if we could give Barb some help, expand this, grow this, and then we kind of took it from there. And this was Jolly's first time being at a leadership meeting, and he was kind of thrown off that we didn't already because we was kind of losing out on some money. And I'll turn it over to him, and he can explain part of that as well.
So the goal here is just really to, like we said, gauge the council's interest for an advisory board really to assist some of our parks and recreation improvements, long-term planning. So the boards, historically from communities that I've been a part of, some of the community kind of investment and support that Mayor mentioned, doing tree plantings around the community, or doing spring cleanup or trash cleanup. There are ways that you can kind of get some of that volunteer support kind of with that advisory group. But also it's a nice function to have for long-term master planning. So kind of dedicating the next 5 years of park improvements or trail improvements, kind of designating that for future years. But kind of on the diversification side, it's a great source of kind of grant funding too. So IEDA is one example. So for some of their kind of CAT grant or community action and tourism grant funding, where it scores highly favorable when you have these parks and recreation advisory boards. So it's really just kind of a way to kind of help support our current operations and not take away from what we've got. That's great here in Stuart. So, but just a great starting point there for discussion.
So, and this was, like I said, this is just informational, just to let you guys kind of chew on that a little bit, to see if you guys would want to expand that. And like I said, it's to give Barb a hand as well. She's doing a very good job with the stuff up at the park, the winter festivities and stuff like that, the lighting and everything else. And yeah, we can just help her with that and kind of grow that. So that's why I just wanted to bring it to you guys and just let you just think about that if we want to.
Yeah, another thing too, if the city ends up taking the position to, take on the American Legion Post building, this could be another thing that the advisory board can kind of help with the assistance with. So hopefully continuing the skating events and the private rentals, and yeah, they can help support those initiatives.
That was gonna be my question. Would that encompass that potential? Would it encompass, generally your aquatic facilities or other parks and rec? We've got our current parks. We have the potential, for the nature parks out north of town, that would be coming on board here at some point. Warren's not here anymore.
Yeah, he's up.
So, I mean, I guess that was just my big question. Is that all encompassing of all that, or just kind of focusing where we're at right now?
No, I think it'll open up doors to like the pool, the aquatic center, and like Jolie was mentioning, the Legion, if that's something that you guys do take on or whatever. Yeah, it just, that way it's kind of under a whole another umbrella, take care of the flower gardens and stuff like that. And yeah, there'd just be a board, and and round up community members or whatever, so, yeah.
So are you creating a new board or just trying to get people on the Parks and Rec committee? You said an advisory board to help Barb, who's on the committee, so is that like, she's the Parks and Rec committee and then you have an advisory board, or what are we doing? I guess I didn't understand that fully.
Go ahead.
It'd just be the Parks and Rec Commission,
Yeah.
and it'd be just one commission, but Barb would essentially be the liaison to help guide that
Okay.
specific group, so.
Okay.
Kind of use advisory and interchangeably.
Okay.
That's,
That's-
they'd be advisory, yeah,
That's what I wanted.
capacity, so.
Not really invent the wheel, reinvent the wheel by no means, but just utilize what we have and just expand it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would certainly support a formalization. I think we know that there's people that move to the community that wonder about a dog park, or, you know, we know Warren is really passionate about connecting the trails, and I don't think that's something that we should be doing or one person should be doing if there is the ability to get grants and funding and a longer range plan. So I would support you continuing to explore possibilities to bring back done.
Okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. All right, we'll move on.
George, can I ask you a question on that real quick?
Oh, absolutely. Come on up.
On the Parks and Rec, with that board, we've got a decent system going now with Matt, and it's bounced around a little bit but I think coming to the council, I came to the council a couple of years ago, and at that time I said, you guys have, not that you don't care about, you got bigger issues that you'd be worried about than soccer field space and events like that. Will this board be someone that we would report to as well for registration and things, for more direction and have more of a guide? That's just all I'm curious on, if you have any comments there as well.
I would think so, and that'd be up to the council, but I would think so. And I know Seat is managing, you know, the sports complex now, or kind of overseeing it a little bit, but.
Yeah, but we ran into, they don't actually have any authority out there. So
Correct.
because of the kickbacks, they can't. So if we were requesting something, you know, we get bounced around 10 different ways, and then I'd go to Matt.
Yeah.
And Matt's unsure on where he has power and where he doesn't sometimes as well, so maybe clarifying some of that stuff would be helpful, going through 10 different people
Sure.
and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I
that
think
would
also,
clarify that.
like, if it's an advisory committee, I'll just use that word, having a representative from, like, maybe you pick certain people to be on it so that there is a voice at the table and that the communication and process is real clear.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I think you guys should stick with having Matt do it as a city employee, insurance purposes, contracts. It doesn't take that much time for Matt to do it. It's all online, usually for him, and he makes everyone accountable. And that is the big thing is, oh, she's my friend, I'm gonna let her go have a party out there on the field, and, oh, whoops, we forgot to tell you you can't have alcohol. You and I know that, but they're gonna be accountable.
Yeah.
And Matt has agreed
Yeah.
to take that role on, and I think Matt needs to stay there for a while, so.
I would think that's probably. To Barb's point too, even having somebody that the city maybe gives some power to make some decisions that doesn't necessarily cover every policy that comes out, or, you know, different things that relate, because things are gonna get overlooked and it's gonna grow as time goes on, everyone understands that, but maybe it helps limit some headaches in the future, and like I said, Matt and I, we have good communication now, and everything, I mean, it's flowing smooth, and we just wanna make sure we do things right, and no one's upset with anyone, because at the end of the day.
Yeah, I think as they pursue this, they'll kind of draw that in, you know, with the soccer and stuff, and see who's gonna be in charge of it and what kind of authority they'll have, you know, I mean, definitely can't say tonight, because we won't be able to say.
No, I
but-
understand, it was just a
But
thought I
yeah.
had, if this park,
Sure.
if it does get up and going, maybe it makes sense to,
Yeah.
you know, design it out and build it out and look for the future on it, which it is, but where else does it encompass some things, maybe make things a little easier.
And I wouldn't say that we need to rush right into it, but I do believe that we need to, if there's interest, we have those conversations, you know, and bring Barb to the table and the soccer board, and you know what I mean, we just get around the table, we'll have these conversations and just talk about things. And,
Matt and I have
yeah.
had that conversation numerous times, after we opened up a good line of communication, it's going smooth, I just, sometimes I do feel for Matt, not to put him in a place, but sometimes I say something to him and he's unsure what he can and can't do. but-
Sure.
And say, which I understand as well, but then I'm like, well, the only place we have to go now is to the council. And like I said, not that you guys don't care, you just have bigger issues to worry about than listening to me talk about something that's big and important, but also minor in the grand scheme of things for the whole city, so. That's all, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All right, moving on. none. Letter K, full-time paramedic position, new hires and approval, Dustin Caps.
I'm back. So what I'm asking is, we just wrapped up our most recent round of interviews for full-time paramedic positions. These are positions that we'd talked about previously and budgeted for, and we have very good response to the applications. We had some very qualified applicants. The two that I believe you guys have their information, maybe? No, okay. So the two that I'm asking for approval for are already part-time members of the department, looking to transition into full-time roles. I guess, do you guys have any questions for that?
Nope.
I do, because I know, from the past, and this might have changed, so bear with me here. We've never had, that would be full-time paramedics?
Correct.
With benefits?
Correct.
We've never had that. We've always had like one director, that'd be you, and then another full-time paramedic that didn't have benefits, that would have been Luke. And then we had part-time. So was that in the budget that Ash passed, or that we passed, that Ash
Yep.
presented, that was
So-
in there?
I reviewed the current
Okay.
fiscal year budget, so that was adopted by the city council, and it did show, so the 3 full-time expense item for the paramedic positions. So here it is, this full-time transition, so it's about $396,000, but the actual expense for getting them up to the 4 now was about $316,000. So that's just the salary line item. The benefits was also accounted for, so it seemed like before me, they ended up accurately budgeting it for the current fiscal year. But for the next fiscal year, obviously, we're gonna have to continue that management. But one thing that they looked into was the overtime expense line item. So I think for Dustin's position itself for this past fiscal year was about $57,000 just in overtime. And so when you're looking at the hiring of these full-time paramedics, it's not only offsetting that, but
Sure.
there's an adequate budget kind of gap to help offset some of those increases, so.
Nope, that's fine, that's good deal.
Okay. Anybody?
Need their names?
Yeah.
No, that's curious.
Yeah.
So one of them, her name is Taylor Engelman. She currently lives in Waukee. She's been a paramedic for a little while. She's already helped with some projects within the department. The other one is Paige Peckham. Currently lives south of the metro. And again, is a very experienced paramedic with a passion for training. So she'll be a good fit.
Hourly wage and start date?
The hourly wage, I apologize, I didn't bring that with me.
I think you provided the documents to us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I sent them all in, I don't.
Start date
Start date's actually, if,
this month or?
depending on how this goes, it'll be tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I've got some awkward conversations.
Okay. Does anybody have any?
Does
more
that give us like 2 outs all the time now, or how does that help us
So
on
the
that?
biggest advantage, one of the things that has been consistently in the director report out, the 2 things are overtime and then difficulty staffing Monday through Friday during the week. So they're gonna be working the 24 on, 48 off schedule, so we'll have 1 paramedic every day. That allows me to fill in the weekdays when we currently don't have coverage. And then in the evenings, when we do have 2 staff, in theory, we would have another extra provider in town for those second hours.
Okay.
So, yeah, it should
Okay.
help on.
Should help on that.
We
Okay,
should
good
be
deal.
great.
Okay, good deal.
Anybody else have any questions for Director Caps? Okay, I'll take a motion on
Okay, I'll move that.
that. Moved by Cobal, second by Ingers. How do you vote? Cobal?
Yes.
Caps?
Yes.
Ingers?
Yes.
Nelson?
Yes.
Russell?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you, Dustin. All right, number 9, moving right along. Reports, mayor report. Kind of a busy month for the mayor. Hit the ground running, so I attended Good Egg Days, attended the P&Z meeting this past month. I also attended the Stuart Fire Department training, and that opened my eyes on what the fire department, their needs, the members, the volunteers. They really got right after it in training. Those guys were soaking wet through their training. They take it very serious. So And I'm gonna involve myself in the rescue and also the PD, just kind of see what their trainings are like. I'd like to get myself involved in that, and just to kind of see what our guys do and gals. Met with Zach Nunn when he came to town. Had a good conversation with Zach. Also attended a couple of the leadership meetings here at City Hall that we've been doing. Welcomed Jolly on his first day at City Hall, July 1st. Did that. So the community win for this month is this gentleman sitting right next to me. He's been here for almost 2 weeks now, and he hit the ground running. He called me this morning and told me that he was working Saturday night at 11 o'clock at night. This guy has not stopped since he's been here. So hopefully we don't hit burnout with him, but he's doing just fine, and we are very, very happy that he's here. The town should be very blessed that he accepted the position. So thank you, Jolie, for showing up and your first meeting. You did very well, and that's all I have in the mayor's report. So I'll move that on to letter B, city administrator clerk report.
So, like I said earlier, this is day 10 of being here in this great community of Stuart. So I had a great time engaging with our public safety kind of staff. So Chief Reha gave me a tour of the community, obviously our police building here, just to kind of go over current capacity, but also future needs. Same with Chief Martinson, Director Capps going over the fire safety building, and having a kind of a discussion of current infrastructure and what future budgetary needs are. So it was great. So I'll be kind of going, so tomorrow, I kind of mentioned before, doing a sewer plant tour with John Welker, and then hopefully getting out to water to kind of go over some projects as well. So trying to get out as much as I can, but have obviously a lot of desk work to do. So as you saw, our financial report, got to handle the first financial report for the city, so that was fantastic. And then looking forward to next month, will be the audit coming forward. So we'll have the annual audit process with the auditors coming in. So even though I was in economic development in my prior community, that month always gave me pause. It's just like, oh, why are they just in there in that office and looking out over all these reports? But so yeah, that's something we'll take very seriously and hope for an improved and clean audit. So and then just another thing too, we're working on, as I mentioned in our report, it's kind of a new structure, but looking forward to developing like a job description kind of process for all employees, so that we can establish a formal kind of performance appraisal process to kind of help justify some of those cost of living wage adjustments every year. So and then one thing too, with developments that are coming in, so any site plan approvals, so we're starting the process to, along with Director Funk here, is to establish monthly development review meetings, so that not only are city staff reviewing it, public safety is reviewing it for like fire, for example, any fire access needs for the development, ensuring it meets fire code, meeting building code, but just so we're all on the same page, before they go to planning and zoning for approval. So trying to help streamline things and kind of help improve things, but it'll be a long process too, so glad to be here.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Council members, do you have any reports? Anything else from council members? All right, we're gonna make it easy. All right, with that said. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I just want to throw a shout out to you, because I saw those yards over the weekend, that were about 2 foot tall, so kudos to you.
Thank you, thank you. Yep. All right. Thank you, everybody.